So the Carabao CUp final was played last night, and the final, as everyone knows, was between Manchester United and Newcastle United. So really, before the game, I thought that this was going to be a good matchup, really. Man United coming really into some form recently, and Newcastle, after their takeover, they made some good buys in the transfer window, and they seem to have built up a good team. So really, two teams on the up was kind of the storyline for this final. So yeah, as I said, I thought it would be a good matchup and a very interesting game. I thought it would be quite a back and forth game where whichever team took their chances really would end up winning the game in the end. So getting into the first half, I thought to start with, for Man United, it was quite a shaky start really. We seemed a bit worried, a bit nervous about the game. I don't really know why, to be honest. We have quite a few big game players who've been in a lot of big games where you needed to perform, so like cup finals, for example, Champions League finals and things like that. So I thought the passes were being misplaced a bit. We weren't making the runs to really, get in behind the defence and all that. So yeah, a really shaky start for the first 10-15 minutes, and I thought really at the start we were I just thought hopefully this doesn't go on for the rest of the game, because then if that happened, I think United could have really thrown this game away. As for Newcastle, I thought they started quite well. They were going forward quite positively. They weren't really creating much, if I'm being honest. However, they were going forward and they were being positive, and they were putting United on the back foot, which I think could have had something to do with why Man United kind of started quite shakily, because Newcastle came forward with a lot of energy and they were trying to create chances which may have taken Man United off guard. So yeah, I thought Newcastle really started a lot better. They started more positive. However, as the first half started going forward, I thought the game became quite back and forth. So Newcastle would have an attack, United would have an attack, and chances weren't really being created, and then every now and then a half chance would be created. So it was really a game I think was set up quite well in the early part of it. So United and Newcastle, really the game was going the way I thought it would. However, just past the half-hour mark, what I think was a pretty silly foul was given away by Newcastle, kind of like on the edge of their box. So really, I thought the foul, I can't remember which Newcastle player it was, he kind of like jumped in to the United player, and I don't really think there was any need for it, because it's like he wasn't really breaking away, and I don't know if it was frustration on Newcastle's part, which would be unusual to see frustration this early. They did get quite frustrated in the second half, but so the free kick was given just on the edge of their box, and then Luke Shaw put in, to be honest, a pretty good ball, but then the ball was headed into the back of the net by Casemiro, and it was I just think it was a brilliant goal, a brilliant header from Casemiro, and he put United 1-0 in front. There was a bit of not really controversy, but there was a bit of a wait, because they went to VAR due to the fact that Casemiro may have been offside. It did come out that he wasn't offside. A Newcastle player's foot really was playing him onside. And just a quick note about the VAR in this situation. I think it's a bit of a shame really, because VAR in this situation was used perfectly. But because it wasn't a controversial decision, it won't come up and it won't be used as like, this is where VAR is used correctly. They'll always bring up when VAR isn't used properly, because for some reason they don't want it in the game for some reason. Anyway, enough about VAR. After this goal, I really thought Newcastle started to kind of drop. Their heads started to drop a bit when they went 1-0 down. And this could be really due to their lack of experience in these big games. So after the goal, United really started going forward. I think they got their confidence. They're 1-0 up. They can go forward a lot more. They really brought the energy that Newcastle had. It kind of switched, really. Newcastle started to get a bit more shaky and United started going forward a lot better. And then 5 minutes later, Weghorst, who is, Weghorst, I think he's on loan from Burnley, but he was also on loan to another club. But yeah, Weghorst put through Marcus Rashford, who went through, took a shot, and it was deflected into the back of the net to make it 2-0. So, first of all, the goal was incredibly lucky. It went down as an own goal, and really, I think Karius could have done better. I mean, it was a deflection, so I'm not going to be too harsh on him. But I really do think he should have. I think he went down and he dived a bit too early. So really, I think he should. Overall, I think he should have done better, to be honest. However, within 5 minutes, it's gone from quite an even game to United going 2-0 up and really taking control of the game. And also, it did go down as a Botman own goal. So really, I think for the first half an hour, the game was very, very even. Both teams are in it. Both teams were going forward. They were going back and forth, back and forth. But after those 2 goals, the tide swung in United's favour, and United went in at half time, 2-0 in front. So moving on to the second half, I really did think that coming out, I thought it was going to be interesting coming out for the second half. How are Man United going to play? Are we going to get nervous again, or are we just going to see the game out? And overall, Man United just came out and controlled the game, really. I mean, it was a brilliant idea from Ten Hag to just come out, control the game, don't get too desperate because we've got the 2-goal lead. And really, in this type of game, if you've got the 2-goal lead, just control the game. You don't need to do anything fancy. The other team is chasing. And Newcastle, to be honest, to be fair to Newcastle in the second half, I think they did, for most of the second half, I thought Newcastle played better. Because they went forward a lot better. Even though they did struggle to create much in the second half, I do think that they were a lot more positive in going forward. But then again, Man United didn't really need to create much because, once again, they had the 2-goal lead. So really, it's not like United needed to play that positively anyway. So, yeah, Newcastle struggled to create much. They did force a couple of good saves from David De Gea, and really, at least one of those goals could have just crept in the net. So De Gea really was just, even though he didn't have a lot to do, he was there when we needed him as well. So really, I think in the second half, Newcastle really struggled because United just really saw them out the game. And it's really as simple as that. The second half wasn't as good as the first half, and Newcastle just couldn't put that one chance away. That's really the story of the second half. Newcastle couldn't put that one chance away. They were looking for it the entire half. They had a few pretty decent chances, but nothing really clear cut. And really, United we were just looking to catch them on the counter, which we nearly did a couple of times. But we had a clear cut chance where Newcastle were pushing forward and the ball was played out straight to Bruno Fernandes. And he went forward. He took the shot on himself where he could have passed to Sancho. But, I mean, we were 2-0 up, and I think there was like 15, 20 minutes to go in the game. Actually, to be honest, it was probably even less than that, to be brutally honest. But yeah, it's like, overall, I don't think Newcastle played that badly. I just think it's Man United stopped them from playing. That's just how it was. Like, if a team stops you from playing and shuts you down, there's not really much you can do. You're going to have a lot of luck go your way. So, really, I think it was overall, I think it was a game of two halves. Man United ended up winning 2-0. The first half was really who could take their chances. United took one of their chances off the free kick, and then they got lucky with the second goal. And then in the second half, it was just Man United shutting down Newcastle. I mean, it was quite simple, really. And yeah, those are my thoughts on the game. I thought Casemiro deserved to win man of the match as well. He was brilliant. And also David De Gea ended up breaking Peter Schmeichel's clean sheets record for Man United. So now David De Gea has the most clean sheets for a Man United goalkeeper ever. So congratulations to him. He's served probably through one of the most difficult times for a Man United goalkeeper. So I think he deserves that. So those are my thoughts on the game. Let me know your thoughts on the game down in the comments. Thank you for listening to the video, and I will see you next time.